Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Andromeda Six. Dudes, last time, we we were at the bar, club, question mark, on some planet that I can't remember the name of, and we met this person who we apparently are familiar with. We didn't get to see their face, but they recognized us and they called us Your Highness, dude. Because if you remember, people were talking about how, the, last of the royalty of Goldus, nobody had seen The Last Child. We're Anastasiaing right now, everyone. We are Anastasia. The movie. Not, really, because she actually did die, so, Anyways, Your Highness. Sup, dog? Okay. What? What is happening? Your Highness? Vex. Hey, he kind of looks like that other guy. Wait a minute. He's kind of fine too. Hey! I'll ask later. He smiles when I turn, and something in my stomach feels lighter. It's been a year since we first met. A year and 1 day and 22 hours. How do you know that? To be precise, but who's counting? Apparently us. Let me put on my glasses again, because I'm blind. Amazing. Oh wow, those words are so much closer and clearer now. And still I remember that day like it was only yesterday. All ready for the masquerade? With a small nod, I gesture to my outfit, silently gauging his reaction. Yeah, hi. My cat said it's time. She said, I know you're finally... I've been sitting at my desk for literally hours. Hours, like 2 or 3, and she has not tried to get up here once. Now that I'm recording, she's like, Punsa, so what are you doing without me? Also, I think I opened this twice. Well, that's why the music was so crazy, guys. I had accidentally opened the game twice. Music was kind of far. Anyways, I had one of the servants pick it out for me earlier, a young human who seemed to know a thing or two about the latest fashion. Bex nods in approval as he takes in my appearance, and I turn a little to let him get a glimpse of the entire thing. It isn't often I have an excuse to wear anything so fine, being the youngest of the... Pegasi? Question mark? Children. I'm often confined to one section of the palace and never invited to any of the royal functions, save of a wedding or funeral. My gaze settles on him, nerves getting the best of me now that we're ready to leave. Though he only smiles at me reassuringly. He's kind of got that evil smile, you know what I mean? He kind of got that Sonic meme smile. He's the only person who smiles at me in this place. The only one who even cares about my happiness, except for... Do you really think this is a good idea? What if someone recognizes me? It's a masquerade ball. We'll be fine. One corner of his mouth tilts into that knowing smirk I've come to look forward to every day. The one that makes it seem like he has a secret. Something he wouldn't tell anyone but me. That's what the mask's for. This is the smile that you like? I got questions. I'll say Damon has a pretty untrustworthy face. Bruh, this guy, I feel like he's about to get us. Taking the lacquered mask from my hands, he steps slowly behind me, positioning it in front of my eyes and tying it by the ribbon behind my head. I bite down on my lip, dread worming its way down to my bones. He has as much to lose if we get caught as I do. So we're not supposed to be there. Perhaps even more. My hands shake at my sides and Vex puts a reassuring hand on my shoulder to keep me still. We snuck out of the palace. Hello. Yes, hi. Come here. Say hi. She's beating me up. Oh, God. Yes, there's a billion corns up here. Oh, my God. Hi. We snuck out of the palace yesterday and into the city to visit the cafe you love so much. And you're still so afraid of a little masquerade ball? I tilt my head slightly to make a face at him, wrinkling my nose to show that it's hardly the same thing. Yes, the city, not right under my parents' nose for all to see. It's then that Vex steps in front of me, his fox-like face and sharp... Bleh. Sorry, my cat used me as a launching pad, Jesus. His fox-like face and sharp eyes facing me head on, and a soft smile gracing his lips. Okay, I can take this expression. I can take this. This is cute. This is cute. Ugh, I'm dying. Help. Nothing bad will happen to you, Kay. I promise. Yo, he's also, he's also totally, oh, you know what's gonna be T? We're gonna, yeah, actually save, and then we're gonna romance the fuck out of this guy. Yeah. Let's go. I step forward and place a soft kiss on his cheek, feeling the smile that lifts at the corner of his lips. I trust you to keep me safe, Vex. Hey. Oh my god, she's being a mess. When I whisper in his ear, he hums his approval, stopping me with a hand on my waist before I can pull back again. And how do you know you're safe from me? Heat floods my cheeks and my pulse spikes. I have to admit to myself that I like the way he's looking at me, like a fox stalking its next meal. That's crazy. He reaches out to smooth a wrinkle from my outfit, his fingers so gentle when he touches me. I'll be by your side the entire time. I know he's telling the truth, and I trust him so much that the nerves start to settle, and I manage a small smile of my own. As a member of the Royal Guard, Vex Seraph has sworn to protect my life against the danger that may befall me. But there's more than that. He isn't just a guard, he's my friend. Dude, we made this complicated! Oh, T. You know why I made this complicated? I don't know if we're getting these memories. So this is obviously in the past, like when we knew Vex, when we were still like in the royal court or whatever, and we had our memories. Let's go! Oh my god, actually I'm kind of hyped for this. I know it's a mess I put myself into, but it's kind of fire. So here's the story T that I want to build. Okay, this is our lore. Me and him had like a thing going on when I had my memes and we were back where we were, right? Right. That's why I chose to flirt with him. I was like, T, this is the past. Like, we had a thing going on. They're saying friend right now. Incorrect. Low-key our partner or whatever. So we have this, like, thing going on. And then we lose our memories. And we start shit with Damon. Who, I'm not saying looked kind of like him, but he kind of looks like him. And then we have our memories of this guy coming back. Oh my god. This is T. Ooh. Okay, I'm excited. But there's more than that. He isn't just a guard. He's my friend. My only friend. You look goofy with your hair like that. When he holds his arm out, I take it with renewed confidence, letting him lead me towards the secret passage off to the side. This passage comes out on the other side of the palace, just beside the large oil painting of my grandfather, and the entrance to the library. There are many passages like this, and Vex and I have explored them all. I know I should feel guilty about this, disobeying a direct order from my parents to keep to the confines of the palace's south wing, but instead running wild and unseen through every depth of the palace. And with a member of the Royal Guard, no less. We're almost there. Vex squeezes my arm gently as we navigate through the dim passageway, and I can tell that he's excited, which calms me somehow. We step out from the hole in the wall, taking care to remain unseen and prepare ourselves for the masquerade that awaits us. Okay. The memory ends suddenly, cut short by the sound of my name, spoken by a familiar voice. A voice from my past. Vex? Oh, I wonder if that's who we were remembering from before, too. Because I don't know if you remember, but when we first, like, were on the ship, maybe. I don't remember. Apparently I don't remember either. We had, like, I think it was when we got that box, like that music box. We were remembering someone, like, being comforting to us. So I wonder if it was him. Vex? Look at his cutie little fucking outfit. Okay, period. My head feels heavy, and I raise my hand to my scalp, pushing against the throb that settles beneath my skull. I remember a little. Bits and pieces become clearer the more I think about it. Though there's only one thing I know for sure. Vex is here, and I remember him. Okay, I mean, Your Highness, what are you doing here? The question stuns me for a moment, taking me off guard as my memory after memory of the man in front of me rushes to the surface of my mind, piecing together like a glass, like a glass unbroken. Jeez. Get out of here. Some memories remain blurred, mere fragments needing needing a little more time to come to focus. But others swim to the surface, desperate for air while they leave me breathless, struggling to stay afloat. You left me. Emotions hit me one after the other. This is tea! Sorry. Relentless in their assault. Fear, confusion, anger. Vex, how could you... I meet the eyes of my old friend, expecting to find the kind, emerald green gaze I'd grown used to. But instead, I see nothing. Nothing but anger, bitterness, and spite. Dread snakes through my veins. Something is wrong. Something is different. And I can't quite figure out what. I thought you were dead. You were supposed to be... Vex stops, the muscles feathering in his jaw as it tightens, and he sets his unfeeling gaze on me. How did you escape? Escape? He thinks I escaped the attack on the palace? I remember now what truly happened. I remember my brother's wedding and how we were all at the palace that night. The perfect time for an enemy to strike. I left the reception early, planning on leaving the city to search for Vex. And now, here he is, standing in front of me. So much has happened since I last saw you. I was rescued by a crew of mercenaries. After being injured on Goldus, my memory of it was gone until now. Seeing you seems to have sparked something in my mind. You remembered because of me? I nod, finding it increasingly difficult to meet those cold, cold eyes of his. The ones that were once filled with such warmth. What else do you remember? I remember... Panic! Dude, more than friends. We were inseparable. My throat tightens and I know what I have to say. I have to tell him the truth, even if it's too late. You looked at me in the way that no one else ever had. And I liked the way that he made me feel. He takes a step closer, raises his hand and brushes his knuckle over the side of my face so gently. How did it make you feel? Like I was yours and you were mine. Like nothing could stop us from living a life we've dreamed of, from exploring all the places that we said we would. His mouth twitches as if holding himself back from something he wants to say. I know this bitch betrayed us. The fact that he said that we were supposed to be dead means that he was probably in on it, so... Whatever. I remember what happened that day, the day of the attack. You left. Weeks went by and no one would tell me why or where you'd gone. My chest caves at the memories of being told to sit up, shut up, and do my duty. All the while, my only friend in the whole world was gone. I ran away. I was desperate for answers. I came looking for you, though I didn't make it very far before. The last words, my voice cracks. And I will the tears that threaten to spill to stay where they are. Why did you leave? Vex stares me down, his eyes cold and unflinching, and I don't understand any of it. I wasn't your friend. I didn't care about you. Not even when they told me you were storming the palace and exterminating the royal line. Huh? I was doing what now? You what? I was using you, Kay. Damn, who's shocked? Not me. Not me. Oh, he's got the crazy eyes. Oh, guys. Ain't what I say. I said I don't trust that guy. But I knew it would be fun as fuck to make it a romance. Dude, that's so tea. Okay. He laughs, but it's a bitter sound, devoid of any warmth. Sorry, I just love that shit. Like, a good sesh of, like, the one person you know and love in the world, like, betrays the fuck out of you. Ah. Story writing. Twist villain shit. Except it's even better because I had amnesia, so I don't remember. I only remember him as, like, this guy that I loved and some shit, and, you know, I like, got amnesia. It's also crazy that, like, I was just naturally drawn to Damon. Damon just is a lot like him to me, not in personality, just in appearance. Like, their faces and, like, the way that they're carrying themselves at first was very similar in vibes to me. What's this music? Hello? So I think in my head, the lore I'm writing where I'm like, in my head somewhere with the amnesia, Damon looked kind of similar to Vex, and that's why I had been drawn to him, and then I just started liking him for him, blah, 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 blah. It would also make sense for why, like, if the character likes him so quickly, if it's like, he's kind of similar to Vex, you know what I mean? Kind of, like, distant and drawn and shit. Ah, that's so fun. I love stories. I love them so much. Yeah, anyway. You were so naive. You had no idea. All you wanted was a friend. I don't believe you. We were friends. You would think that, wouldn't you? You spoiled little brat. What did you even have me tell you, Your Highness? Did you want me to say that I missed you? That I thought of you every day and wondered if I get to see those places we talked about? Wondered if someone better would take you there? It's giving that is what you thought. I mean, you said it, not me, you know what I'm saying? I didn't. I didn't miss you. I didn't think of you even for a second. I don't believe you. Save again. Liar? That's not true. You're lying. You think so? Then you're stupider than I thought. Damn, that's crazy. It doesn't matter either way. You're right. It doesn't matter. Something shatters inside me, some remnant of the past that had rushed back to the surface, only to crumble like dust in my hands. All those times we would sneak out of the palace just to get away, the passages you showed me, that was exactly what I needed to know. And then I took that information to Zovac. Oh, he knew exactly where and how to strike. No, it can't be true. If it is, that means it's my fault. I mean, damn, it's also their fault for, like... Damn, the one guard you give me is, like, the enemy? The fuck? That's crazy. I literally had one guard, and why was no one else watching the princess? Didn't I have, like, maids and shit? Like, I'm fucking royalty. Hello? Was no one else watching me? What is that about? Hello? Princess! If you know what's good for you, you'll stay far from the Andromeda Six and her crew. They know too much. Far too much. And they'll be dealt with soon enough. Sorry. I'm moving on from you, bitch. Damon's my man now. Back up. Forget who you were, Kay. That person doesn't exist anymore. If you're lucky, you'll never see me again. Damn, that's crazy. Okay, bye. He turns to leave, stopping for the briefest of moments to say this over his shoulder. I'm not sorry for what happened, but I am sorry for Nerissa. She might have made a good queen, but we couldn't wait long enough to find out. He backs into the shadows, one foot behind the other, and I can't stop myself from reaching for him. He can't leave, not now. I need to know more. Nerissa. Something sharp stabs me through the chest, a pain so fierce I can barely keep myself on my feet. Nerissa, my eldest sister, and the heir to the... It's giving Pegasi throne, but I don't know if that's what it says. Vex was the only one who ever smiled at me, except for Nerissa. Kay. Hey. Footsteps echo through the darkness, but my mind has trouble processing the presence. Nerissa. She was going to be queen. She hated our father, but she loved me, and now she's gone. Kay, what the hell are you doing out here? Didn't I tell you to stay in the club? The captain's voice rumbles right past me. Are you even listening to me? No. Yes? Stop, Cauldron. Bash shoulders past the captain, but I see nothing but shadows and shapes dancing behind the tears filling my eyes. Can't you see they're upset? Cauldron huffs a breath while cold metal fingers take me by the arm and help me stay upright. Are you hurt? Nah, dude, just sad. My man fucking betrayed me, dog. That's fucking crazy. My ex-man. My real man is Damon. He would never do that to me. He's just fucking, he's like the, what is it called? What's that saying? He's cut from the same cloth. I shake my head, unable to speak, and Bash lets out a relieved breath. Let's take them back to the ship. This isn't the kind of place we should hang out. Hi. Damon, do a sweep of the area. Make sure there's nothing out of the ordinary. I don't see it when Damon sinks back to the shadows, quiet as a mist, but I feel it when Bash gently takes me by the arm and guides me in the direction of the ship, Cauldron walking up ahead of us. Bash leads me through the crowded streets of the city, and I'm glad for it because my mind is elsewhere, lost in memories of the past. Before I know it, we're in front of the A6, ascending the loading ramp to the docks. 3 heads snap up when we enter, and immediately Riona's on her feet coming towards us. What happened? I'm not sure exactly. Bash moves away to give me space, though all 5 of them continue to look at me, waiting for answers until Cauldron cuts in. You shouldn't have left the club. You have no idea how dangerous the city can be for someone alone. I'm sorry, I didn't think? Yeah, that seems to happen a lot, doesn't it? Can you back the fuck up, bitch? Let me pull out my Glock really quick. Cut it out, Cauldron. The last thing we need right now is your bad temper. Got him. Cauldron opens his mouth to speak, though stops himself at the sight of Riona's glare. Fine. Throwing up his arms in frustration, he backs off and leans against the far wall, a sour expression twisting his features. Riona comes over, putting a hand on Bash's arm to make sure he's all right before turning to me. Are you okay? When you didn't come back, I was so worried about you. She lowers her voice and leans closer, glancing at Cauldron before fixing her bright yellow eyes on me. He may have said it the wrong way, but he's right. Nos Vegas is a dangerous place. Sorry for worrying you. I'm sorry I just disappeared. I should have said something. I think back on meeting Vex in that alleyway, on the things he had said to me. I'd been such a fool to think that I might have meant something to him. Shaking my head to clear the thought, I decide it's best not to dwell on it now, especially not with so many eyes on me. I didn't mean to worry you. I'm just glad you're all right. I smile at Riona gratefully. It's nice to have someone worry about me for once. I've never had many people like that in my life before. I take a lungful of air, steadying my breath as I scan the room. One look at the pilot sitting with her arm cradled against her stomach brings the memory of the night crashing back at me with a wave of guilt. Aya, is your hand all right? Aya grins at me, as chipper as ever. I imagine it'd take a lot more than a broken hand to slow this girl down. A little sore, but it'll be fine by morning. I cannot remember what the fuck I did to her voice again. Ah! Doc's amazing at her job, and having all the right equipment on the ship doesn't hurt either. Sorry, I actually sound terrible. I don't know why I sound so nasty as fuck right now, but that's life. What can I say? What can I say? I'm just a girl. I smile at her in return, glad to hear she's okay, even with my failure to bring back the ice for her hand. Damon! If he killed that guy, that'd be hot. What? Who said that? Anyways, when I follow around his gaze, it's to see Damon entering the bridge, fresh scarlet blood splattered over his face and on the front of his clothes. A streak of panic hits me, and I stand frozen on the spot, utterly useless. What happened? Riona rushes forward to help Damon, who simply holds out the bloodied glove. Holds a bloodied, gloved hand up in front of him to stop her. We were followed. The blood is mine. Oh, followed by who? God damn it. I let out a breath, relieved to know Damon is unharmed. My gaze darts between the captain and his second in command, as does the rest of the crew. Followed? How? By who? Damon shrugs, his cold eyes pin on Cauldron in a way that sends shivers down my spine. Ask the commander over there. Surely he knows how a guard ship is capable of finding us. A collective murmur goes through the room, and I swallow around the lump in my throat. More concerning than the fact of being followed is the splattering of blood on Damon's clothes. I don't know. It's kind of fine. The blood couldn't have come from Vex, could it? I mean, I hope it did. Fuck that bitch. And I moved on quick, girl. I said, anyways. My bad. A guard ship? What's going on? They must have put a tracker on us. Oh, it's probably me. It's probably me. It's probably me. I'm gonna be real. It's probably me. Well, no, because they don't know I'm alive, so it's probably not me. Cauldron's voice is quiet, and I get the impression that, more than anything, he's angry at himself. Damon shakes his head and scoffs. He didn't think to check. I was a little preoccupied with the great bloody hole in my ship. Are you British? And the stray that June brought aboard. I'm just gonna keep quiet. I'm not involved in that. My face begins to heating, and I open my mouth. To say what, I don't know, so instead I say nothing. There's no need for that. I'm the one who made the decision to bring them on board, so if you want to be mad at someone, let it be me. I'm not mad at anyone, A growl tears from Golden's throat as he kicks over a stack of metal boxes, completely losing his cool. How did things get so fucked up? Things were always fucked up, Cal. We just never learned how to deal with it. The captain waves a dismissive hand at us all before pinching the bridge of his nose and taking a deep breath to calm himself. What's done is done. We'll check in with Oppo about getting a CD. A cloaking device isn't gonna do shit if they already know we're here. And how the hell do you expect to get the money for that anyways? Bash helps Damon find the old rag, leaving him to wipe the blood from his face and clothes while the captain growls at him. How we always get money, Damon. We're mercenaries, unless you've managed to forget. You know just as well as I do, we don't have time for that. What else do you propose we do? Aya gives him a helpless shrug, her glare burning straight through him, and I take the opportunity to sneak up before Cauldron can enrage anyone further. There might be another way. 6 pair of eyes follow me, and I hesitate. It's not ideal what I'm about to propose, but I value our lives far more than some old trinket. Well, if you have an idea, then spit it out. Taking in a deep breath, I meet his eyes. We can sell my music box. It's made from Kentalphanite, right? Surely it's enough to buy the parts you need and then some. No, absolutely not, Kay. You cannot sell the only link you have to your past. I look at no one but the captain, gauging his response. Finally, upon making a decision, he lets out a sigh. I agree. It's not something any of us would ask you to do. You're not asking. I'm offering. And besides, it's not the only link to my past. June steps forward, his eyebrows dipping, clear in confusion. What do you mean? I'm going to tell them. The reason I'm going to tell them, hear me out, is so we've established in the lore, that we are the prince, they, them of Goldus, right? The last one. We are the only living person. We are the Anastasia of this world, right? We've also established that, so it's seeming that Vex is part of whatever the, I don't remember what the name of the like, dictator overlord is, like, Zarkon or whatever. Zodak. Whatever his name is. And Vex is working for him. So, they are the quote-unquote bad guys. They've killed our whole family. So, even if they're doing something good for the universe, which everyone has made abundantly clear that they're not, Andromeda 6 is not with them. So telling them that, number one, I am one of the last living of the royal family, I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. And 2, that would also, they're going to try to swing that. It's my fault that the whole blah, 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 blah. I'm also going to say that having one person guard a royalty child is like the dumbest fucking thing ever. And you know what? Hey. Down. 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 Thank you. Sorry. My cat is chewing on my books, and I don't appreciate that. But, they're gonna try to swing that it's our fault, and I'm just gonna sit here and say, I cannot be blamed for, one, I didn't know who he was. And if I did, which I didn't, sure, that might have changed something. But there's not a single world where I would have predicted that they would have put the person who wanted to betray the whole kingdom with me. Especially since apparently no one gave a shit enough about me to put me in the very far wing of the castle to never be spoken to or seen. You know what I mean? Like, if there were more eyes on me as, like, the royalty character, like, if there were more eyes on the MC, it wouldn't happen. Why is there one pair of eyes on this royalty figure who constantly, it's not even like sometimes, constantly is where they're not supposed to be? I'm just saying. You can't blame me for that. Oh. Well, I hope you guys read that, because I didn't. Oh, wait, history. The reason I left the club was because I saw someone from my past, a member of the Royal Guard. Royal Guard? I don't understand. What was someone from the RG doing here? My voice shakes, thinking back on the confrontation with Vex in the alley, and everything he had told me. I don't dare to tell them he'd lied to me for over a year, pretending to be my friend while gathering intel for a man who murdered my family. And I definitely don't tell them that because of my own naivety. I played right into the palm of his hand and gave him everything. When I saw him, I started to remember. I remember that he was the guard who was assigned me because I... Cauldron swears under his breath when his eyes lock on mine. I know he's the only one who's figured out what I'm trying to say. Go on, tell them. With a deep breath, I compose myself, taking the opportunity to look between the crew before things between us are changed forever. My name is Kay Pegasi, and I'm the youngest child of Phenaris and the stellar queen Tajine. Why are you mad at me, brah? Look at his shit-eating grin. What a bitch. The faces in front of me are a mix of horror, confusion, and anger. My stomach drops, knowing the weight of the bomb I've just dropped on every single one of them. And maybe I'm forgetting something, but I don't see the problem with that. Shit. Well, this changes things. This changes everything. Damon is the one who approaches first, the hard set of his gaze, a perfect contradiction to the grin that tilts his lips. He studies me for a moment, seeing me through new eyes before he turns back to the crew. Don't you see? If we turn over the little royal to Zovac, it could be just enough to wipe his bounty on us from the record. Oh, I did forget about that, but I doubt it. That's not really how that would work. I do nothing but stare at him in disbelief, my heart pounding in my ears like a drum. What did he just say? At least 2 shouts of outrage come from the group, though Damon only smiles wider, his teeth glinting under the fluorescent lights. You've gone too far, Damon. Kay is one of us. We're not just gonna hand him over to their family's murderer. Agreed. I will kick your ass if another word comes out of your mouth. My eyes catch June's for the briefest moment, and he looks away as quickly, fixing Damon with a hard stare. Damon snorts at Aya's threat, rolling his eyes as if he couldn't care less. Then he steps towards the captain, his face blocked from my view, and his voice low and calculated. Cal, I know you agree with me on this. See, but I also think that's dumb as fuck. Because, it's like, sure, there's a chance that you could do that. It's kind of like a, what is that game called? Ooh, it's like a fucking Red Dead thing. It didn't matter that you could pay off your bounties and shit. The Pinkertons were still fucking coming for you, dog. Like, it did not, they were gonna get you anyways. Like, it's kind of the same vibe. Like, sure, you can pay off that bounty, but I guarantee you they're still gonna come after you anyway, because this is a big group of big threats. They're not gonna just let it slide. Like, that's stupid as fuck to me. Cauldron looks past Damon, those cold eyes fixing me to the spot, though I harden myself and stand my ground. And then he shakes his head at the second command, his voice rough, leaving no room for debate. It's not an option. Damon clicks his tongue in disappointment and backs off. Yeah, I don't think I won't remember that bitch. Hands held in front of him in defeat. All right. Have it your way. Don't go crucifying me for saying that when what you're all thinking. I mean, it's okay to think it, but like, I totally get it. Like, that's something you would think, but also it's a dumb idea because there's no guarantee that if they do hand me over, that they won't come after them anyways. And that's always the fucking, like, deal with shit like that. You don't know whether they'll actually give up or not. You know? He slinks away like an angry cat, every pair of eyes on him as if he might snatch me away, until he disappears up the stairs and out of sight. Once gone, Cauldron lets out a tired sigh. I think we should call it a night. It's been a long day, and there's much we'll need to discuss tomorrow. Alright, see you guys later. I glanced toward the stairs that might lead up to the main deck of the ship, wondering where Damon went, and if I should find him. In the end, I decided it's probably best to let him be, and after his proposal earlier, I'm not sure I want to speak to him at all. Yeah, I'm kind of upset about that. It's not my favorite thing he said. I get it. I know where he's coming from, especially in, like, a vibe where you're, like, very protect your own, but, yeah. But it's also weird, because he was the one who decided to keep me on the ship. Like, he fought for me to be here. Anyways. But also, I was a normal person back then. Okay, I need to speak with you. Cool. Poggers, you might say. Yeah, I really had to go into the younger person slang for that one. With a nod, I follow the captain up to the bridge, falling behind and losing myself with my thoughts. We walk in silence, but I don't mind it. My head is reeling, and I have to mentally prepare myself for the conversation to come. When Cauldron stops, he turns to face me, but the anger is drained from him. Instead, he seems concerned, an emotion I'm not used to seeing on him. How are you feeling? The question both relieves and takes me off guard at the same time. And with the way he's looking at me, I know things have changed. Things haven't always been easy between the captain and I, but despite that, I'm glad he asked. And he stood up for me against Damon after all. How would we be feeling about it? Probably like I've so. Oh, you can scroll back. I'm such a dumb bitch. Well, I'm feeling either one of these, strong or emotional. Let's go with strong. Like I have a lot to. Like I have a lot to decide. If Novak finds I'm alive, there'll be hell to pay. I think back to Vex and learning the truth of him working for Zovac. How long it'll take for him to contact his master and reveal where I am. I need a plan, something to keep him off my trail until I can figure out what I need to do next. Unfortunately, he's out for all of us, but fortunately for you, with the CD will do the trick. For now, at least. Alright, so that's the plan. Get the CD. Cauldron drops his head, letting out a long breath before he looks at me again, his face anguished. I owe you an apology. Look at his little blush. He's embarrassed. He yelled at what's like the... Is there... Highness? I think a lot of those old terms are also really gendered, aren't they? Like every single one of them. Hello. There's probably one that I don't remember or know. He drags his thumb across his bottom lip, and I can see this isn't easy for him. I'm sorry for what I said on the first day you came aboard. You don't have to. No, I do. The captain fixes me with a hard stare, and I close my mouth, content to listen. I have to say it, I have no excuses for how I acted. I just needed you to know that I'm sorry, for all of it. I don't want to flirt with him. Thanks. Thank you for saying so. I appreciate it, and I accept your apology. I know you were only being cautious. Cauldron smiles, but his face drops as soon as some hidden memory surfaces, and he hesitates for a moment before speaking again. I knew your brother, Prince Soren. We trained for the guard together, and we were friends for a time, before we were dispatched to different districts. I freeze, letting the words sink in. I had no idea the two of them knew each other, and now that I know, I can't tell him how it makes me feel. He was a good man. He didn't deserve what happened to him. None of your family did. It was his wedding, the night of the attack. I remember it now. My voice shakes when I speak, the past hanging over me like a thundercloud ready to explode. We weren't close, but I never wanted this. I never wanted to see any of them get hurt like this. My breath sticks in my throat, and for a moment, I have trouble getting the air out of my lungs that squeeze tight in my chest. People hated my father. Does that mean he deserved to die? I shake my head. That's not what I meant at all, but I certainly don't wonder why people wanted him gone. I heard what people had said when I would sneak into the city. They said he was narcissistic, that he was leaving people to suffer while our family drank from the golden goblets and ate off silver plates. My brothers and sisters were content to live a life of privilege, either too ignorant or too scared to do anything else. But Nerissa, the heir to the throne, she loved the people. She tried to change our father's mind on so many things, but he would never listen. And I felt so powerless I didn't know what to do, so I did nothing. I'm just as bad as he was. No, wanting to do something, that's the first step. For me, it was the only step. Well, in that case, it was the only step I ever made. I never had a chance to do more. Cauldron gives me what might be considered a soft look, if anything about him was soft at all. When I graduated from my training at the Guard, I was top of my squadron. I could have picked any posting I wanted, but I chose to be stationed in the worst sector of the Bronze District. Do you know why? I shake my head. From what Damon insinuated in the bar, I wasn't aware Cauldron had a choice as to where he was stationed. Because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted people to know that there was still someone who gave a shit about them, who would fight for them. I hide my frown, hesitating before asking the question that poised on my lips, but it's one that seemed important. Because that's where you were from? His blue eyes go dark, and eventually he nods, looking away and letting out a short, sharp breath. My mom gave me everything I ever wanted. But my birth parents, I couldn't stop myself from wondering if it was their circumstances that prevented them from keeping me. He was quiet for a moment, but then he says with a shrug, "Or maybe they didn't want me. Who knows?" "I'm sure they did." He glances sidelong at me, putting the wall back in place, piece by piece. Before he can finish rebuilding it completely, I ask another question. "Why were you exiled?" Colden's throat bobs, and his face darkens as he closes himself off more and more. I don't want to talk about that. I won't let him shut me out again, not this time. "Cauldron, please tell me." He stops to study me, as if deciding how much he wants me to know. I see the moment he gives in with the breath of air leaves him, and his shoulders slump in defeat. "I wasn't exiled initially. I was awaiting my execution." "You what?" "Accused of the murder of Lord Oberon, the king's uncle, the head of the Crown Council." My eyes widen on the man in front of me, hardly believing what I'm hearing. I remember Lord Oberon's death. I remember attending his funeral with the rest of the family, and how my father had taken the loss particularly hard. They said his murderer was caught and being brought to justice. Back then I didn't care to know more. I never liked my father's uncle. My father's uncle? He was mean and cruel and was hated by the people almost as much as the king himself. But Cauldron, it can't be true. You murdered him? He gives me a look, offended that I even had to ask the question, and immediately I feel guilty for doing so. No, it was a setup. He doesn't reply for a while, instead pacing towards the panel on the far wall and scanning the controls. When he does speak, his voice is low, barely audible over the beeps and whirs of the bridge. "I cared about those people in the Bronze District, but I was the only one. When I started pushing for change, others saw that as a problem. I was betrayed by those closest to me and used as a pawn in just Novak's scheme to get rid of the biggest opposition to his claim and infiltrate the Crown's council from the inside." Oh my god, twin! We got that happened to us too, girly pop! Oh my god. Samesies. "You knew Novak?" "No. Not until Aya busted me out of that prison and told me who was really behind everything I was accused of." "Couldn't you have told someone? Cleared your name?" Zovak had already had the council in the palm of his hand. Who would have believed me? I swallow hard, knowing that what he says makes sense, but hating the injustice of it anyway. I had a lot of time to think while I was waiting for my death. A lot of time to wonder where things all went wrong. And what conclusion did she come to? That I trusted the wrong people, and that I wouldn't make the same mistake again. Suddenly, the captain's distrust makes a lot of sense to me. He was hurt, plain and simple, and he was trying to do the best to make sure it didn't happen again. Who betrayed you? I think we've spoken about it enough. I nod. He's already told me much more than I ever thought he would. What about the bounty, then? What's the deal there? It's simple, really. When Novak found out I had escaped and assembled a crew, he put out a hit on the lot of us. So then that, it wouldn't have mattered. Like, peace and love, it wouldn't have fucking mattered then. If they turned me in, he's still coming for him. The bounty isn't for crimes at this point. The bounty is just, like, revenge. Like, it's trying to close up, like, tie up loose ends. You know what I mean? Like, that's all it is. So turning me in wouldn't have done anything. That was a really dumb suggestion. Whether he knows it or not. His followers see him as their champion, the protagonist in their little story, banishing the evil king and taking down the throne as his own. But the people, the ones who've suffered for long and hard enough, see him for what he truly is, a tyrant, pushing those in the lowest ring further down still, and calling it salvation. It only takes a spark to start the flames of revolution, as Zovak knows well. That's why he wants us gone. So, you'll fight him? I'll do whatever I can to pull him from the seat of my throne when the time comes. We have to do something, but we're only 6 against an entire army. 7. Would you fight with us, Your Highness? Yeah. I would, if you'll have me. A crooked grin tugs at his lips, and I know he's glad to hear it. If I recall correctly, you've secured your place on the crew. Oh, you've already? Yeah. It's yours as long as you want it. I think of the second in command who might have different views on the matter. Damon. He's under my command as long as he's on this ship. I can't make excuses for his behavior. The things he had to do to survive are brutal, and he's become ruthless because of it. Yeah, I think we've learned that too. It doesn't surprise me that that was his first instinct. I'm not about to make Zovak's job any easier for him, and I know the crew would agree with me on that. All of them. I don't say it out loud, but I hope he's right. A sound goes off in the device on his wrist, and with the movement of his arm, he brings up the holo screen and scans the words in front of him. Riona's waiting for you in the infirmary. She wants to do a checkup. I'm okay. She doesn't have to worry. He gives me a look, and I know at once I'm fighting a losing battle. She will anyways. Best to put her mind at ease, or she'll be on both of our backs about it. I start to leave, but before I make it any further, he calls out to me one last time. Tomorrow, we'll be deciding our next move. You'll have a say in the decision, if you want it. I give a nod, knowing my status as the Royal of Goldus will be a contributing factor to whatever comes next. I hope they don't treat me like that. Like, yeah, that's who I am, but, like, also, like, I just treat me like a little guy, you know? I'm just a girl. I'm just a girl trying to hang out with my girlies. I'm so unserious. Oh my god. With a last goodbye, I leave the captain on the bridge and head towards the infirmary before we can incur the wrath of the Talari medic. The doors of the infirmary hiss as they open and admit me to the room, and Riona's head snaps up from where she's seated in front of her terminal. She gives me a soft smile, standing to greet me. I was beginning to think Cauldron ignored my messages. Does he do that a lot? She chuckles, her blue lips widening to reveal most of her teeth. More than you'd think. I pace further into the room, glancing over the various plants and specimens that cover the cabinets and desk. He said you wanted to do a checkup? I do. I really just wanted to make sure you were all right. She gestures for me to take a seat on a familiar medical bed, and once again, the plastic crinkles under me as I sit. It smells different in here than the last time, like jasmine buds and nightfall. I'm sure Riona's Mister? Oh, mist, yeah, like mist, got it, is to thank for the pleasant scent. I inhale deeply, letting it calm me. So, now that your memories have started returning, how much do you remember? Bits and pieces. They seem to be coming back easier now, but some are still fuzzy. Riona takes her medical wand and lights the tip, checking my eyes first, and then my ears before she takes my temperature. Any pain? I have a headache, but that's it. She sets down her wand and goes over to a large cabinet. After shuffling around in it, she comes back with a small container. Take a couple of these. They'll give you some relief. You can take them every 4 to 6 hours if the pain persists. Tylenol! Wait, or like acetaminophen or some shit. I don't know if they're the same. I don't know anything about medicine. Haha, I'm just a girl. She fills a glass with water and hands it to me, and I swallow down the couple of pills. Almost immediately, the ache in my head begins to dull, and I hand the glass back to her with a grateful smile. Golly, wish it worked that fast. I'd like to do some scans over the next couple of days. It'll take a little while, but it'll give me a clearer view of what's going on in that head of yours. I nod, and she gives me a gentle smile, placing a comforting hand on my arm. I can't imagine what you must be going through right now. And then her face falls, and the glimmer of her skin fades, betraying her true emotions. I'm sorry for your family, Kay. I truly am. With a nod of my head, I accept her condolences and give her a grateful smile. I'll be all right, but thank you anyway. I know what it's like to live with a difficult family, and I've seen my share of tragedy. After talking it over with Cauldron, I don't feel like I can talk any more about my family, so I steer the conversation in a new direction instead. When you left your home, was it a difficult decision to make? Riona gives me a sidelong glance, as though she sees what I'm doing. Thankfully, she runs with it. The toughest, but I knew I had to do something more. That's when I joined the Archangels and traveled the system with them, helping those in need. What happened to them? With a sigh, she brings her chair over to face where I sit and drops down into it with no small amount of grace. I'll tell you if you want to hear it, but it's not a pretty story. I'd like to hear it. I'd like to hear the story as long as you're willing to tell it. She doesn't speak for a moment, gathering her thoughts before her story begins. Before she speaks, her skin flickers, torn between conflicting memories. When I left Talaran, it was with a friend. Her sister was an archangel, and he was going to going off to join her, so I tagged along. The work we did was, well, it was amazing at first. Her face drops, and I know the worst is yet to come. We were here, on Terrarium, and a group of Talari certainly draws attention, but we didn't think. We were too focused on trying to get our name out there, trying to help people. You may know of the Makuri, yeah, okay, great. Zovak's followers. They're a brutal, bloody clan. They do what they want and when they want to do it. One day, they were walking on the streets when 24, maybe more, surrounded us. 24 against the 10 of us. They rounded us up, pushed us down a dark alley away from prying eyes. No one dared to stop them. We helped countless people, and yet no one helped us. They herded us like cattle. They insulted, beated, and belittled us. A couple of the archangels tried to escape, and while Makuri was distracted, my girlfriend, Mila, pushed me into the shell of a ruined building. She saved my life. I was able to hide quickly enough, concealed by the remnants of the building I was in. They couldn't see me, but I saw everything. They didn't bother to count the bodies. They didn't care how many of us there were, as long as we were dead. I watched them butcher my friends, every single one of them, and I did nothing. There's nothing you could have done. Your girlfriend saved you for a reason. If you had tried to do anything, you wouldn't have been here today. Maybe it would have been better to die with them. That's a crazy thought. That's that survivor's guilt, I fear. That's that guilt from being the only person who's left alive, I fear. My heart clenches, hating how the broken words sound and how her beautiful skin dulls. Don't say that. You still have people who need you. I try to keep the thoughts of my family at bay, of their final moments, of what I've seen, what I would have seen if I had been there. The memory of Nerissa hits especially hard. Was she frightened? Did she suffer? I can safely say no matter what happened, my sister would have gone down fighting. She was never one to give up easily. Riona takes in a deep, shuddering breath, her bright eyes shining with unshed tears. I can't remember how long I hid there, terrified to leave in case they came back. She stops suddenly, a silent memory playing in her mind, one only she has access to. With a sigh, she continues her story, her eyes half closed as though she might still be back there, in that damned alleyway. When I finally stumbled out of there, something inside me was changed. I had this anger. I was sad, yes, but that rage consumed me. Rage and helplessness. I was the only person against an entire clan. Eventually, I found refuge in a crowded bar, hoping to disappear among the crowd until I could figure out what to do next. The bar was the Ark. What happened next? I saw a familiar face, one who insisted he owed me a debt. Sebastian. Oh, it's Bash. I was like, who the fuck is that? I was literally sitting there like, who is that? Yeah. Got it. Locked in. Sorry. Her face lights up at the memory, and I can only imagine how it must have felt to find a friendly face after such a tragedy. He introduced me to Cauldron, and I told the captain my story, and since then, I've been part of the crew. So you joined the crew because you had no other choice? I joined them because they were hunting monsters. Cauldron, after what he had been through, was hell-bent on stopping Zovak. I think I've been calling Novak the whole time. Zovak. and the Chimeri by any means possible. Suddenly, I wasn't helpless anymore. She fixes me with those unusual yellow eyes, her stare suddenly determined. We failed on Goldus. It won't happen again. Something in Riona's demeanor scares me a little, though I can't say I blame her for wanting revenge against the group who murdered hers. So, now you know why I joined the Andromeda Six. I'm here to see that Zovak and the Chimeri. Got it. Probably not fall. I don't know how yet, but we'll find a way. And that's all that matters. I believe it. I see your determination, and I know how it feels to want justice, and even revenge. The most important person in my life was murdered, and I wasn't even there to say goodbye. Then you know how it feels. How it carves at a piece of your humanity and your faith. Our eyes meet, and something in me feels connected by the tragedies we both had to endure. I'm starting to feel it. more than I've ever wanted to. What will you do now that you know? My mouth pulls into a tight line, determined that whatever happens, I'll find the path that I need to be on. Cauldron mentioned he has a meeting tomorrow, to discuss what happens next, so I suppose I'll hear what everyone has to say and decide from there. Riona opens her mouth to say something, but stops before the words come out. What is it? With an apologetic smile, she finally speaks. There are too many people who abuse the power they have, but sometimes doing nothing at all is just as bad. You're the only surviving Pegasi? I literally keep reading it as Pegasi. You have the biggest claim to the throne if you want it. She doesn't meet my eyes, but I understand what she's trying to say. I hadn't had the chance to think on it much, and I'm not sure how much I want to. Oh, trust, it's been the one thing I've been thinking about. The second it even was plausible that we were the heir to the throne, it was like, oh, we have to make the decision whether we want to stay with Andromeda Six or whether we want to rule the kingdom. Which I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. There are people who would support you. I'd support you. That means a lot. I have one man on my mind still. Well, yeah. It means a lot to have your support, but I don't know if that's the life I want. Riona meets my gaze with hers, unfaltering, and I can tell that even though it's not exactly what you wanted to hear, she understands where I'm coming from. It's not something I've thought about yet. To be honest, it's not something I've thought about ever. I'm the youngest of 11 children. This day should have never happened. Whatever you decide, Zovak can't be left to rule. There has to be someone else. There are others who might have a claim, as weak as it might be, but none that mattered, with Zovak at the head of power. For all I know, he might have murdered them too. Riona lets out a heavy breath, and for the first time, I notice how tired she looks. All of a sudden, I feel really guilty for having kept her up so late. It's late. We both need to get some rest. I'll see you when you come back for your scans. I'm sure that tomorrow, there'll be a lot more we need to discuss. I stand and straighten myself up, wishing Riona a good night before leaving the infirmary, looking forward to finding a moment of peace alone in my room. Upon entering my room, I fall back onto my bed, exhausted and thoroughly ready for a moment alone. I need to sleep. I can feel that my mind as much as my body, but the memories plague me, refusing to give me a moment's rest. The thought that sticks with me in my mind, above all, is that I need to stay a step ahead of Zovak. How exactly am I going to manage that? Remains to be seen, but I have to find a way. And after that, I'll deal with the grief. Nerissa, Vex. The one thing I know is if I hadn't gone looking for Vex, I wouldn't be alive right now. That's true. There'd only been a handful of times that my family had all been together. Weddings, funerals. Zovak would have had it all planned out. When I think back on my family, on the life we lived together, my feelings are mixed. Mostly I was alone, only with my servants and the guard for company. Before Vex came along, I would always try to find ways to spend time with my siblings, but the less in common I found we had, the more I stopped trying. The only one who tried to make time for me was Nerissa. Even with all her duties, we had a strong bond. I was always Nerissa's favorite. My sister should have been queen in place of our negligent father, and we both eagerly awaited for her time on the throne. I'm pretty sure everyone did. Sounds like everyone hated that guy. Now my music box, a gift from my eldest sister, is the only thing I have left of her. Oh, I would not give that away. And my father. My father wasn't supposed to be king. I heard stories. He'd lost his own father and his brother all in the same day. He was thrust onto the throne, too young and inexperienced to know what to do with it, guided only by his uncle and the crown council. My grandfather was a great king, or so I've heard, but his brother and son unraveled all he had done in a matter of few short years, and left the system in disarray. This sounds familiar. Familiar, and I don't like it. Boo, boo, boo. My mother, Tajine, the Stellar Queen, and the king's third wife, damn. She was bitter and cold, and she hated the life in the palace almost as much as she hated my father. Politics forced her into a marriage she never wanted, and by default, her children were nothing more than a duty to her. With the memories of my family playing in my mind, I eventually drift into a restless sleep. Hey! Hey! I guess we're getting more of these memes. I tumble out of the ballroom with Vex on my heels, his laughter almost as loud as my own as we draw the attention of the nearby guests. We danced for hours and hours, and I couldn't remember the last time I had so much fun. Though, things were always fun with Vex around. But the ballroom eventually had started to clear out, and we finally agreed to cut the night short, thinking it best to avoid being seen. Lieutenant Seraph, what are you doing away from your post? The captain stops and squints at me, and while Vex quickly stands between us to shield me from his view, it's too late. Your Highness, you're not supposed to be here. Vex looked back at me from over his shoulder, a single word slipping between his lips. Run. I don't have to be told twice. Turning on my heel, I bolt down the corridor, pushing through the crowd of confused and horrified guests, who thankfully thin out as I reach the end of the hall, deciding which way to turn. This way. A hand grabs mine and a bubble of laughter escapes me as Vex pulls me down the hallway to the left, our feet pounding the carpeted floor as shouts erupt from behind us. We turn around another corner, and then one more, until Vex stops in front of a large tapestry and pulls it aside and pushes me into the hidden passageway behind it. I lean back against the wall, breathing hard. Vex knows the secrets of this place almost as well as I do, and tonight I couldn't be more glad for it. Vex, I think we lost. Shh! Vex steps before me and clamps a hand over my mouth, just as the sound of footsteps echoes in the hallway on the other side of the passageway. Bark! I still at once, satisfied that I won't make a sound. Vex drops his hand and gives me a crooked grin. You have to remember their memories. If I knew this is like with his shit now. Oh, yeah, I'm not forgiving you, motherfucker. Fuck you. Yeah. Because here's the thing, I want to truly, truly, deeply believe that he likes the MC and the MC likes him, and they have like a thing, but he's like, I have to for Zovac, and so he does betray us. He does betray us, guys, unfortunately. But I think that just makes this lore fucking tea, you know what I mean? I love a little drama. I think this is so fun. I make my own narrative, bitch. When I move closer, Vex responds in kind, his body pressing me back into the wall and flooding me with warmth. Okay. My hands slip around his neck, brushing over the scars of his gills, and his fingers rest on my waist, keeping me still. Footsteps echo up and down the corridor, but I barely hear them, too focused instead on my own unsteady breathing and the way he leans closer, his emerald eyes locked on mine. Are you mine, Your Highness? His whispers caress my lips, and in a warm breath I do nothing but nod, fingers threading through his scarlet hair to bring his mouth to mine. I think there's something here. A tap on the tapestry startles us, and Vex grabs my hand to pull me further down the quickly darkening passageway. We all but tumble out behind a statue and into another corridor, the quiet area of a welcoming change of pace. Vex catches me around the waist and pulls me against him, wicked humor in his eyes. The remnants of his laughter rumble through me, and when he runs a thumb over my bottom lip, my heart beats, an unsteady rhythm in my chest. One day, we'll leave this place, and I'll take you somewhere where there are no rules or expectations, where we can just be us. Do you promise? I promise, Kay. Liar! This shit is fire! Let's go! Yeah! With a start, I wake, bolting up in the bed and blinking against the harsh sun shining through the window. A rhythmic knock against my door drags me to the present, the rush of the memory that had just come to me steadily fading as I get up to make my way to the door, smoothing down the wrinkles of my outfit. I'm not sure how long I slept for, but the steady stream of sunlight that filters through the window tells me it was long enough. When I slide the door open with a hiss, it's to find a certain pilot standing in the doorway, looking much too perky for this early in the morning. Oh, didn't think you'd be awake already. Aya smiles wide, beaming at me with an energy that's not fitting for someone who'd barely gotten any sleep last night. I bid you good morning. Oh, wrong person. I bid you good morning, Your Highness. Twist not waste the day away. Twist not to do waste away daylight. I don't know what that means. I have thus come to make sure thou art ready for the day ahead. Giving me a half bow, and the poor use of old English, coupled with a choking sound of strained laughter, simply gives away how much fun Ayama seems to be having at my expense. Can't say I blame her for this terrible impression of a royal servant. I too would be in line to make fun of the lost noble child if I was her. Might as well roll with it. That was horrible, but I loved it. Well, of course you do. My stuck-up impression is spot on. Not the words I'd use to describe it, but I don't have it in me to burst her bubble, so I step back and make way for her to join me in the room instead. Barely glancing around, Ayame quickly makes her way to the foot of my bed, plopping down on the covers before turning her piercing, violet eyes on me. So, how are you? All things considered, I reckon I'm doing well. It's not as if anything would change what had happened. All I can do is figure out what to do next and commit. Pressing her lips together, Ayame stares at me for a few seconds before blinking away and shaking her own head. I'm glad she's come to check on me and that she's bothered and asking how I'm feeling. Yet, curiosity still nags at me as to her thoughts on this, on me. How do you feel about this? How are you, though? Me? Her bright almond eyes blinked slowly, almost as if she'd expecting anything but that question. I'd almost been expecting a shocking response, but she swiftly shifts into a smile again and waves a dismissive hand at me. Don't be silly, Kay. Here I was worrying about you, and you end up worrying about me. I'm doing fine, don't worry. What about your hand? Nothing to it. I've been through worse. See? It's all good. She's like throwing hands. She's like punching and shit. In a show of prowess, Aya rolls her wrist and flexes her fingers. I still remember the state of her hand was in last night, but maybe the club lights made it seem worse than it truly was. It's still as if the weight has only lifted off my chest when I see her like this, though. Tapping on the empty bed space next to her, Aya gestures for me to come over. Have I ever told you how I ended up in the army? I'm aware Cauldron and her have served together, but while I can clearly see why the captain would choose to follow a military career, it's quite hard to picture Ayame waking up one day and enlisting. Shaking my head, she hesitates a moment before speaking again. Well, it's a long story, so before we get into this very long story, we're gonna pop in a pause. We're gonna pop in a save, and this is where we're gonna stop. And then I guess we'll probably go through how everyone feels about me being the royal what's and what. Because the thing is like if I didn't tell them about me being royalty, they would have figured out at some point, and they would have been even more upset that I didn't tell them that I knew the whole time. Especially with Vex being around and probably he's probably actually after Andromeda 6. So, which is, you know, if we're going with the whole story of line of that's why, like, he is in love with us, but he's not telling us because he worked for that other guy, then it would also work with, like, that's why he told us to stay away from Andromeda 6, because, like, what am I trying to say? Like, that would also be why he would say that, is because he doesn't want us to get caught in the crossfire. Because if we don't get caught, then we stay alive. You know what I mean? And he can't really do anything else right now, but he can make sure we stay alive. Which, you know, not giving a pass, murdered our whole family. Do not like that guy, but I also can see that being a thing that he's thinking. Anyways, so this lore is crazy. This story is so good. It's fire. I'm having a great fucking time. even on, like, okay, like, I love a good romance front, blah, blah, blah. Because absolutely I'm writing shit in my head as it's going on. I'm absolutely like, oh, yeah, like, we were in love with Vex, and we're not in love with, like, we still have those feelings because blah, 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 blah. But obviously it's not the same anymore because we're mostly just feeling betrayed right now because he killed our whole family and betrayed us. And literally, this is not something that you could ever come back from. And, you know, I said before, like, I like having that thought of, like, Damon is low-key similar to Vex, and I can see why that, like, the MC would be drawn to that character, that person, because of the similar things, even if the amnesia, like, was there. I think that's so fun. But also just, like, the OG, like, the story of, like, kingdom being taken over, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's cool, too. Because now it's like, what the fuck are we gonna do? Because we could be, like, the, whatever it is. The ruler and shit. I don't think our character wants to, which I probably wouldn't either, but yeah. Anyways, that's all for now. I hope you're having so much fun. Maybe as much fun as I'm having. Hopefully even more. And I'll see you all next time. Bye.